this correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
I don't know if that's,
That is
Viewers can see it.
so, and I just click on ask to get out. Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So can you still see the,
Yes,
yes, you can still see it.
No.
just
No,
no,
not
madam.
anymore.
Present your screen. Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to know because if I shut it down, what happens? Good. So, okay. Anything you need for me to do at the moment?
Vimal sir, start the session.
Yes, 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 madam.
Okay.
Start the introduction.
Ma'am, I will start the introduction, okay?
So you want to start now and not in 10 minutes? We can do
No,
that
no,
too.
I will start with the introduction, ma'am,
Yeah, we can.
and then you can start the session.
Yeah, all right.
Just to present your screen, ma'am. The screen is not visible right now.
No, I shut it down to talk to you, but I'm
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, we are presenting webinar on the path toward authenticity, Start Within, organized by Applied Science and Humanities Department of Farul Polytechnic Institute, Farul University. The main agenda of this webinar is for achieving happiness, we need to start being true to living with authenticity. Authentic means coming from a real place within. It is being ourselves, not an imitation of what we think. I, Vaishali Nathwani, would like to introduce today's presenter, Ariane D. Mello from Berlin, Germany. She is a Brazilian professional actress, theater director, professional actress, theater director, fantasy author, and serial entrepreneur. She has wrote a dark fantasy novel that helped her develop the Dead Dream Awakening concept, which is the basis of her work around communication. She has become an official member of Germany Press and have two novels published. It's our privilege to welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here and be talking to you. The path toward authenticity starts within. What do I even mean? So, please let me know if you can hear me because, as I said, I'm not very familiar with this format, so it can be that we come to some technical difficulties, but I'm here for you. And I have a small son, and he's not in kindergarten. In case something happens and you hear him and you can see him, it's because, well, that's mom's life in home office during COVID situation. I hope you guys are well. The path toward authenticity starts within. When I used to coach public speakers for stage and for camera, people asked me a lot, but how do I become more authentic? But that's not what they meant. What they meant was, how do I become laid back? Or how do I become more comfortable? Or how do I become even casual? They never meant who they are. They meant how they look. And though this is a part of the process, and definitely if you are on stage, if you're willing to sell something, if you are willing to present an idea, it's important that people see you in a way that you want to be seen. I give people that. But authenticity is different. Authenticity goes deeper. Authenticity is a problem in our society at the moment. Let me tell you something. When I was this year, I don't know if you know, maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't see, I gave a TEDx talk entitled Your Uniqueness Lies in Your Dad Dream. And today I wanted to give you a narrowed perspective on how to use your authentic self as a form of expression. As already mentioned, I am a professional actress and theater director. I come from Brazil. I lived in two very different cultures. And that gave me a very interesting insight on authenticity. Little short to my story. When I first came to Germany from Brazil, I thought I had to fit in. You know the feeling? I know a lot of people who came from other countries into this country or into another, especially us, talking about me, from a developing country in a rich Western country. When you go there and you want to become someone, people have this tendency, at least it was so for me, to try to fit in a very unhealthy way. I suffered a lot. I have never been tested as clinically depressed, but I was unhappy to death. And I thought that the problem was somehow me, that I was wrong within that society. This is happening with this generation. Maybe you've seen it. Maybe it's happening to you too. We are losing ourselves. The millennial generation, 40-ish, middle 20 now, is known as the burnout generation. A lot of people tell we are entitled, right? We want people to do things for us. We don't want to do things by ourselves. We are highly depressed. Suicide rates among millennials skyrocket in the last years. We have a huge problem fitting in and accepting what we're here to be. Authenticity is the pure expression of your potential. When you come into this world, you're whole, you're perfect. And then society comes for you. This happens. We have to live in society. We're human beings. We need the connection and the approval and the love of other people around ourselves. And we start by emulating ourselves. That's what happened to me. And by being an actress, I have the, let's say, the advantage of observation. Is something that I used to tell a lot my students when I used to coach public speakers. Observing yourself to try to figure out who you are and who you want to be in order to fulfill that potential that's already within you. Our problem is we are ruled by external expectation. We are ruled by external situations. Yeah, we want to be successful, right? We do. But what does it mean to be successful? Do I mean here that profit, willing to be rich, is something bad? No, I'm not. I'm not. But I want to encourage you today to try to find that piece of yourself that you love the most so you can start thriving. Okay? Coming back to what happened to me and how did I develop the Dad Dream Awakening in the first place. I was here at a very complicated age. I came to Germany when I was 19 years old. That's tough. It's easier when you're a child and then when you have your mind set up. But when you're starting to grow into adulthood, it messes up with your mind. Not moving to Germany, moving to another country, moving to another culture, moving away from your environment. Of course, I am talking here about a personal experience. For me, I had a good family relationship. I didn't need and I didn't want to escape. So I had that connection, okay? For people who are living in worse situations, who have very different approaches to living in another country as I had. Okay, I'm talking about my perspective, which is for a lot of us. Thankfully, a lot of us have the opportunity to go to another country to study, to work, to look, try a new life, try to fulfill something with it, and not because you need to flee an awful situation. So we stay in that perspective, right? Still, for me, being a fully healthy young woman, or growing to be a young woman, having a good relationship with the family, being thrown in a different society and a different culture other than my own at such a critical age, without knowing who I wanted to be, I got lost. I literally destroyed everything that made me me. So that gives me authority to tell you that there is something in this concept that makes sense because I lived through it. And no, this is nothing spiritual. So if you're not spiritual, if you're a pragmatic person, no problem. This applies for you too, because it has something to do with your awareness in your mind. It has to do with your brain and the way you see yourself, how you connect the dots. As I said, I am a professional actress, and everything that I do has to do with theater methods. And then I came here and I started dressing differently. I stopped using, oh, and I just saw that I have just one. Oh, this is style. Can you see that? I stopped using things like this, earrings. I started dressing very casually, because that's how the girls dressed and act in the area where I was. So I thought in my young mind, to be accepted here, I must be exactly the same way as all these other girls, because otherwise they are going to shut me down. This was not a conscious decision. This was unconscious, and this comes from our need, as we know, for connection. And I didn't want to be annihilated by the society. I was new here, and I was searching for, right? How do I connect? How do I connect? And I lost my laugh. I've been a victim of racism. I'm not saying that people are racists here, but there is a systematic racism that when you come from a poor country. So when you come from anywhere, there are cliche ideas of how you were supposed to be, right? So I suffered with that in school, for example, I had to go through a test in acting school for the teacher to see if I could put my temper down. But he never asked any of my German colleagues if they could put their temper up to play a more passionate, like a Latina woman, more passionate character. Never happened. Happened to me. So my acting skills have been doubted because they thought I might not be able to control my temper, which is not true. So being through all this process, I started forgetting who I was. And then I forgot the magic, which is everything that I am. It's mentioned that I am a fantasy author. Yes, I write fantasy worlds. And that's the basis of everything. That's how I figured out that, we're going to talk about this in a minute, self-actualization is for some of us a matter of identity and not a matter of accomplishment. It happened to me. And then we're here at the point when I stopped being who I wanted to be something that I thought people wanted me to be. They didn't, but I didn't know. And then I got lost. And that's what you call entitled. I didn't have the confidence to believe that I could do things on my own because my way of doing things were wrong. People didn't want my temper, right? People didn't want me being weird. People didn't want me laughing. People didn't want me in all those colorful clothes. People didn't want me to express the identity of my culture that I brought with me. So I had to be unhappy to serve certain expectations. Not 100% true, but that's how my mind saw it. And that went to being unhappy, not clinically depressed, and nobody knew what was happening to me. People very close to me said that I was sick. And then I started believing that I was sick and annihilated everything that I believed in before I came in here that made me, this innocent, positive glance toward life. Everything was gone. One day, I was very sick of being sick, lying on a couch almost the whole day. That's how I spent good 2 years of my life, not knowing what to do. Early 20s, totally wasted. And all the potential people said I had when I was a little girl, all the things that I thought I would accomplish growing up and all the dreams that I had, at that point, I thought I was nothing. And I was thinking, this is it? This is life? That's how it's supposed to be? So I had to find a way to find back to myself. And here we are. Who are you? How do you find yourself? The one you want to be. To then accomplish anything you want to accomplish. It can even be money. So, when I was a little girl, I spent a long time waiting for Falkor to pick me up. So if you don't know who Falkor is this dragon of the never-ending story. I talked about him even on my TEDx talk because this is such an important part of what I'm trying to give you. Yes, I wanted magic. I wanted that kind of life in Fantasia. That's a part of my personality that describes the power of my imagination. Doesn't mean escapism. If you are like me, you may have heard things like that in your life. It's escapism. You're going out of reality. But reality is a subjective concept. We only know our human reality. And then we are stuck to our cultures, to the cultures of our families. We are stuck in so many different boxes. That's our reality. The reality of a frog is pretty much different as ours. So the concept of reality is very broad. And for me, as a 100% visual and creative person, the idea of other worlds was what made me thrive and not made me sit and dream about what life was going to be. No, it made me take action. And here we are. Authenticity. Who are you? I am this. And talking about the self-actualization matters. We know I talked about this on my TEDx talk. I talk about this on my posts. We know that self-actualized people have certain qualities, right? Better than better than the most of us. People seem healthier, they seem happier, they have a balance in their lives. We know that. And here we have Maslow's, you might know it, a lot of people know it, it's a very known pyramid of human needs. We have psychological needs, physiological needs. You need to eat, right? You need water to exist, plain functioning, how your body works. We need safety needs. And this is where we get stuck. We need so much safety. So I see this on my generation. We need so much safety that we are trying to grab opportunities. What it happened to me, grab opportunities where they're coming from without hearing within. You are in this world for a reason. You have a potential to fulfill. But if you don't know who you are and you want to be, and you fall in this trap of, even if you're not this kind of personality, maybe you are, maybe you're not. I am not. I'm purpose driven. So to make money, I have to have a purpose to back that up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a business. I would just go and find a job, a nice job, pay the bills, and that's it. But if I have to build something, it's not for the money. The money comes because it's purpose-driven. We're stuck in here. Maybe you saw this. If you are a young person going into online entrepreneurship, for example, you're going to see this happening a lot. And it might happen to you because it certainly happened to me. In this generation where we don't know who we are, we don't know who we want to be. We just know that this whole system is flawed and we are trying to keep our heads above water and breathe. Try to accomplish something that's going to give us a fulfilled life. We get stuck in here. Money, 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 money. The most successful people, not talking about online entrepreneurs, I'm talking about most successful people are going to tell you that you have to be before you become successful. So you need to be a successful person in order to achieve those heights. So if you are looking for a long-term success, even regarding money, you will have to start working within. I learned this lesson a hard way, and I needed a child to help me out. And my son is teaching me that. Maybe you don't need it. We need to be loved. Well, me, here, coming as a 19-year-old in Germany. We need to be loved. So you annihilate parts of yourself that are crucial. We need the feeling of accomplishment. Hey, well done. And then we need self-actualization. And here we are at something that I figured out, and I'm not by no means saying that Maslow was wrong. Never. I'm just saying that, again, for some of us, self-actualization is a matter of identity, not accomplishment. A psychologist told me once, it's on the top of the pyramid because it shines through everything else. And it does. What I started doing with people was, when I trained them for public speaking, and then I figured out that the work that I wanted to do went far deeper, that I wanted to give the knowledge that I have, the experience that I have with the theater to people because that was more important than public speaking. It still is. I started asking them what it's missing in your life. I'm asking you now. What is missing? Don't think about money. Don't think about a house. Think about this very core part of you that you might be suppressing. Most people are ashamed to be who they are. And we want to stop that because it's causing a lot of pain. What is it? The basis of your soul. Definitely, for most people, for the majority of people, is doing something related to creativity. Can you use this as a hobby to help you thrive? Or maybe can you implement this? What are you studying right now? Or what do you study? Can you implement this into your company, into your business the way I did? The whole system that I created is based on a fantasy novel. A fantasy novel that talk about dead dreams. And dead dreams are that very core essence of your soul that you killed for some reason, whatever. I couldn't live without being this. I cosplay the characters of my novel in order to dress that part of my identity that I've been seeking for so long. I need this approach. I need to see other worlds and other realities. That's why I write fantasy novels. This is a creature I created for this fantasy novel that I created a whole system based on the novel where she is the lead. When I was lying on my couch, being unhappy with everything, I lost faith on everything. There is something putting us apart from spirituality. And I don't mean this in ways of religion. Religion is something else. I mean being spiritual as in looking within yourself. I ignored that part of me that needed to do this kind of things. You don't need to do that. You don't need to cosplay anything. Oh, you can, but you don't have to. That's not what I mean. Dead dreams are very different for everybody. It can be anything. It can be love. What do you think? How many people approached me with a dead dream about love? Romantic love. It's sad that this generation ignores love. And other people are suffering because they believe in it and they are searching for it. And they are being put down as ridiculous and minor and less because they desire love. Family. It doesn't have to be something that you buy. It doesn't have to be something that you spent money on it or you gain money from it. It doesn't have to be a profession. It can be anything. So what is your dead dream? I asked people, so based on the theory that your authentic self is the basis of your thrive power, let's say like that, like it's the basis of your fuel, I created a quiz called the Dead Dream Hunter. I wanted to ask people, and this is one of the questions that I ask there. So when you tell people about your dead dream, that dream is that thing that you want to become and had to kill. So do you sense a shift on your behavior when you talk about this? And I wanted to see how much of an impact your authentic self has on your behavior, means on the way you communicate. The more you come back to yourself, the more you accept who you are, the more confident you become. And it's a paradox because you need confidence to get there in the first place. So it's like a circle and it's a never-ending thing. It feels like it's impossible, but it isn't. It's work. And there are a lot of systems, and maybe you're going to need all of them, because I did. This is one of them. Here, 53% of the people that answered to that quiz told me that they get excited when they are talking about their dreams. So there is this spark of the fire burning within the most beautiful part of who we are. In my case, well, I'm an artist. People are not very nice to artists. Right now in COVID situations, they saw they need us, right? Paulo, musicians, actors, writers, painters. They know they need us, but they still put us down. But is that the part of you that gets you thriving? And then I ask them further. So stay in this feeling, okay? Think of your authentic self. I have to take care of the hour. Think of your authentic self. That person that you want to be. That's probably my son coming in, though he's not supposed to. As I said. Now he's running in. Baby. Yeah, mommy cannot talk to you right now. No. Come. So I have to take my son out of the room. As I said, that's how it happens. So, thank you very much. And if you want a tip on public speaking, if that's something that you're willing to do, deal with situations like this normally, because they happen. Acknowledge it. There was no reason and no way for me to ignore my son coming in and just letting his father cross the picture without addressing it to you, because you can't see them. Right? So this is my tip for you. Own it. It's also a matter of confidence, and the confidence comes from within who you want to be. Here in your core, who are you? And then I asked people, let's come back to that feeling. You stay in this feeling of remembering who you wanted to be in the first place. Stay there. For me, let me give you an example. To me is worlds. It's magic. Supernatural. The idea that we're not alone. Cemeteries. Yeah, I know how it sounds, but I have a great connection to death, in a sense of I need to know it's there so I can live a fulfilled life and not waste my time on things that are not important. Okay? That's why I connect with death so much. So when I think of my worlds, right? When I am in there, everything that I created, every story that takes me to another reality, where I can experience beauty outside of this very condescending world we live in, where I can experience kindness and colors, when I can sit here and create a whole new existence. Can you see that I shine when I think of it? Yeah. And then it was a question. Could you speak freely about your dad dream for longer than 20 minutes? Yeah. So most people could. Most people could. Because that's what's within you. It's what I fight for. For you to recognize the power of your potential. And what I do and what I want you to understand and what I want to give you as an inspiration today is for you to figure it out. Here he comes again. He's not happy. He's not happy. If you want to have a child, that's going to be your life. That's going to be your life. It's beautiful. But that's the downside. I'm trying to give you some inspiration. But at least I'm proving to you that my methods work. Right? Ta-da. Take it with humor. I'm giving you here a perspective from the perspective of my work. I'm not a psychologist. I am not a spiritual guide. I'm not a religious guide. I come from the theater. And one thing that I talked to a lot of psychologists was that people have a problem expressing who they want to be. Even if you've been to therapy and then you found that core and you are more aligned and you understood that trauma and you reprogrammed yourself, you still are not in your body. We lost connection with that. We lost connection. We were talking about, this has also to do with sacred, with the divine feminine. We lost touch with the body, with ourselves. We live all here and not here. This is a physical experience. So I help people do that. And that's what I want to give you today. An idea of how to go there. As I said, this is difficult. And it might be the most difficult thing you will have to do in order to thrive. Because you need to find that core. And that core is very much hidden in our child self. And we forgot that. Because society came every time and said you can't. Said you're not supposed to. Said your dreams are stupid. If your dreams are stupid, they're saying you're stupid. And then we do. So we lost connection from this, right? With this. And we used to use it, and we need to use that. Here is an exercise that I do with what I used to do with my students. I don't coach anymore, but I used to do this work that's called the animal work. I call it the animal shape because it makes a lot more sense. And this is an exercise to help you find the way to express that authenticity. Not to find, right? You have to work on this. And it's work, guys. I'm not gonna say, you can, like click on a button and it's gonna be there tomorrow. No, it's not. It's a process like everything. It's a journey. And when you're programmed to not to believe in yourself, when you're programmed to follow this path that it's not yours, but you've been taught to be the right one, the new programming will have a hard time coming in. So it's work. Because this programming will always come back. And then you have to fight it until you have control over it. It's never going to go away, but you can fight it. So this work, coming back to who you are, coming back to feeling yourself, is used to create roles. When you need a shape, when you need to express in your body a creature. Give you an example. You might know the movie Forrest Gump with Tom Hanks, right? Try to come back. Forrest Gump, the guys, run, Forrest, run, run, Forrest. That movie. You know how he was, and he was a little different. He was authentic in himself, right? And he was a little different from other people. He was very naive, innocent, and he was different. Have you ever seen that Forrest stands like this? You looked at it? That's an ostrich. That's an animal. A lot of Hollywood stars work with this very system that I'm telling you now. So this is a acting exercise to help you express a certain type of essence of a personality. So what do? You ask yourself the questions. Who do you want to be? And then you go within. And these words, your mind is going to connect. That's how it happens, right? It's nothing spiritual. It's nothing esoteric, people. These words are going to connect to the characteristics of an animal. And you're going to see this animal. And then you're going to project this animal in your body. This is an exercise. I tell people it's easier for people that are using this on camera. Because if I have the animal now before I go on stage, before I go on camera, I have that shape that I want to be. I have that persona that I want to represent, my brand that I want to represent, my business, my brand that I want to be in the moment when I'm on stage. It's easier, but you can also use this for yourself. As I said, this is an exercise. It's not the answer. It's not a solution, but it's a powerful exercise. It's easier when I do it for you, but we don't have time to do this here. So you might find it on the internet somewhere. I don't have videos online because this used to be the part of my program, but you might find it somewhere. What I suggest for you, if you find this exercise and you say, I want to get in touch with that core that I don't even know who it is anymore, but it's missing. If you want to do that, you search for the animal work, and then you choose 7 to 10 words that's going to describe who you want to be, who you are in your core. For example, you feel that this is for you. It's not for anybody else. So you can write whatever it is that suits you, right? Let's say, I want it to be mysterious. Let's say we're building a personal brand here, right? And that's how you want to show up, to step into that persona that makes you feel powerful, that makes you feel aligned. Write the words. Mysterious. Anything you want. Sexy. Why not? You can do that. Intelligent. Calm. Whatever it is that you feel like it's a part of you that needs to come out. With these words in mind, you do the exercise. What's going to happen is every time you call for that animal you found, your body's going to change. And this is a body experience. I want you to understand that matters. Authenticity is a very, 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 very complex, complicated, and deep as important topic. You cannot be everything you want to be if you don't become the person you were supposed to be in the first place. Ignoring that person is going to cause you a lot of pain. It's going to cause you a lot of pain to become that person too. And you're going to lose a lot of people. Hello? Can I hear somebody? Something happened. Hello? Okay, you're going to lose a lot of people, but you're going to win too. Take the image in your head. Last thoughts? Take a step back to listen to what you really want. Close your eyes and call your animal if you chose one. Use music to help you tune in the mood you want to express. Music has a power to go into your brain and change your mood. You can use that to express yourself too. Take acting classes. I mean it. Do your thing. Do it. As a hobby, do it. Because suppressing your secret worlds keeps us from achieving our full potential. It's going to hurt, but you're going to thrive. You're going to thrive. So I could be ready. Because I thought I heard someone. I don't know if you guys heard someone. It's, as I said, a technical novum for me because I don't know this app that I'm using. So I'm just going to stop my presentation and smile at you and go back and see what's happening. Hello.
Okay. Madam?
Hi.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am. Thank
I'm
you for
fine.
this wonderful session. Ma'am, there are 2 questions. Sorry.
No problem, no problem.
How to be authentic and genuine in our workplace?
How to be genuine and authentic in your workplace? This is a very good question because you will have to respect certain aspects of the culture of your workspace. Absolutely. But one thing that we think wrong is that being ourselves, it's going to be a bad decision for our work. So this thing that I said with the authentic self is, I gave this idea with the music, right? And people say, oh, how can I put myself in that mood? Get that song that only you know, that's going to tune in that personality that you want. This is an essence, it's a mood, and not necessarily being casual. You can be authentic, like I can be my crazy self, right? In different situations. I am my crazy self when I was with my child in very different ways that I am being with you now. Always keep in mind the people that are around you, and always keep in mind that the more you shine that authentic light, the more confident you're going to be, people are going to start listening to you. The easiest way to get there is tune the music in, listen to your body. That's something that we forgot. The music is going to make you feel something. Stay there. Trust it. I'm not saying you have to be totally different, and no, trust it and learn how to feel and read the room, like they say, right? And then you can always be that person you are reading the room. I make my jokes with politicians. If I'm in a roundup with politicians, I will do it. But I'm reading the room. How far can I go? Listen to the music. I'm serious. It sounds crazy, but it's real. It's science.
Okay. And which components we should take care for authentic leadership?
Authentic leadership. There is a very good book on that, and it's a word everybody's scared of. Vulnerability. To be vulnerable, it's one of the most powerful and authentic tools you have in order to lead a team. There is a book by Brené Brown. It's a very famous book. She gave a TED talk on this, on vulnerability. I suggest you read that, because we don't want this. This is the key. Seriously, we need to start opening up to other people. Let them in.
Okay, great, ma'am. I think we have covered all the questions. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time.
I thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And if one or two people took anything out of it, then I'm happy.
Okay. I would like to thank you, the head of our department, Mr. Hemal Patel, sir, the head of our institute, Professor Jatin Vaidya, sir, the academic director, Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, sir, and president of our university, Dr. Devanshu Patel, sir, for motivating and supporting us continuously. Last but not the least, I would like to thank you all who are assembled here today for this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, madam.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.